I had a wonderful experience while I was in Kenya. I started the Theological Education by Extension program, which meant that I went out into the villages. We were invited to a village among the Nandi tribe, which was, we were not as apt to go that direction, but they asked us if we would come and talk about what we could do to have Bible studies and some evangelistic things. When we went to talk with them, I wondered why they had asked us, because it just felt like they were so cold and not really receptive to this whole plan that we had to offer. Yet they said they wanted to do it. So we arranged with our evangelist, Meshach Mudamba, to go out to this village. And his evangelistic ideas were a little different than what we might think. He just visited in homes, and then he had some teaching that he would do at the church when people could come together. Sammy Sore and I would always go to get Meshach on the Sunday that he had his service, and then we would bring Meshach home. And that particular day I really wondered what we were going to find, because there had been such a cold approach to this whole idea of doing the Theological Education by Extension program. But then that day, when we got there at the church, a man got up and went to the front of the church, asked his wife to come and stand with him. Then he explained to us that the Lord had really been showing him that he was not treating his wife properly. Yes, he'd made sure she had food and clothes, but he hadn't given her love for 25 years. And God showed him that that was not God's plan. And so they had together forgiven each other and made a plan for having a more happy marriage. And to seal that, they shook hands, which is a very Kenyan way of an agreement. Then the man sat down with his wife, and there was silence in the church. And finally, the presiding clerk stood up, and he went over to the man, and he said, stand up, I need to talk to you. And he said, for 25 years, I've held a grudge toward you because of the way you treated your wife, and I need to ask your forgiveness. And when they sat down, someone from this side of the church stood up, walked around to another person, and asked forgiveness for whatever. And then it went from one person to another, that they would just move around. And by the time Sammy and I went to start the Bible studies, there was real warmth in that church. They had overcome a lot of the things that they were unhappy with each other. They had asked forgiveness, and now that they were happy together and they were ready to begin the Bible studies to grow in the fellowship with God and with each other.